Hey there, folks. I am the Mighty Plantain. Thanks for checking out this video. I know I've been sleeping on this one for a little while. The Sam Adams Primetime Beers Variety Pack. Sorry, been caught up in some windstorm related, my fucking roof got decimated related. Yeah, that rhymes. Drama and holidays and all that other shit. But I've been working on trying to get this going for a little while. Anyway, before I get too far into the weeds, because I'm probably going to segue a few times. I've had a few drinks tonight. Thank you, Mike P, for scoring me this fucking awesome Sam Adams t-shirt. Man, it's very simple, but very great at the same time. The material is great. It feels incredible. It's simple yet elegant. It looks great. I think this t-shirt looks great. I think it looks pretty fucking good on me. Screw you if you don't think so. I don't care. Thanks again, Mike, for getting me this shirt. Dixon's, one of our local shirt stores, was giving away the shirts, and dude's like grabbed his own and was like, "Hey, I know a guy who'd really appreciate that." All right, so they gave him a second one. Man, boom, love it. Anyway, back to this pack. Sam Adams Prime Time Beers Variety Pack. What we have is three. There are 4 varieties in this pack, and 3 of them are new, folks. 3 new fucking beers. When was the last time we saw 3 new beers from Sam Adams in any variety pack? Much less 3 out of 4. I mean, 3 out of 6, I think that's happened a couple of times before, maybe once or twice. But 3 out of 4? Holy shit. 75% of the beers in this pack are new. Although, when we get into it, I think they're just slight rehashes of previous recipes. But it is what it is. 3 out of 4 new varieties. So we're going to start off, well, we've got, let me list them real quick here. We've got Cold Snap White IPA, which we've seen before, at 5.3% ABV. Then there is the Postseason IPA at 4.5% ABV. Breakaway Blonde at 4.7% ABV, and Red Zone Lager at 6.2% ABV. Now, there's an IPA in here at 4.5% and is the lowest ABV beer. So, if you've ever seen, we're going off in the weeds again here, if you've ever seen any of my videos before, you know that the typical strategy is to go from high to low ABV, except in the case of hoppy beers where your taste comes into consideration. The high to low ABV, Boosh, take fucking notes. This guy has not figured this out years later. You want to go from the high ABV beers down to the low ones if you want to maintain a certain level of buzz. Because once you get the high ABV beers out of the way, you slowly get less and less drunk with each one, instead of getting more fucking drunk by going from a 5% to a 10%. Anyway, when you're dealing with tastings, you want to go from high IBUs to low IBUs, international bitterness. Because bitterness from hobby beers will wreck your taste buds faster than anything. So in typical fashion, you want to go from high ABV to low ABV in terms of maintaining a buzz. You want to go from dark beers to lighter beers in terms of maintaining your taste buds, except when hoppy beers come into play, which is when you want to go from high IBUs to low IBUs, but still kind of balancing that dark versus light, high IBU versus low IBU, and trying to go high to low in both categories at the same time, maintaining, etc. So, in this particular pack, based on the fact that I'm not seeing IBUs, I should be going from high ABV to low ABV. But instead of doing that, what we're going to do is we're going to start off with Cold Snap, which is a known quantity. And then we're going to take the 3 out of 4 new beers here, and we're going to go from high ABV to low ABV. So we're going to do Cold Snap first, which is at 5.3% ABV and 10 IBUs. That's fairly low, so this could be a mistake. We'll find out as we go. And then we're going to go to the Red Zone Lager, which is at 6.2%. And we'll hit up the Blonde, Breakaway Blonde at 4.7, and then the Postseason IPA at 4.5, which style-wise, we assume the IPA is going to have a higher IBU, so that's probably the good one to end on. And it also with ABV being high to low, that's probably a good one to end on, but we don't know for sure. Anyway, all right. If you're not bored yet, we're going to start with Cold Snap. White ale. Yeah, Cold Snap's been around for a while. Sorry, I just had to take a whiff of it. So it smells like a great beer. Lots of bubbles. It's a very effervescent brew. Somewhat cloudy, fairly cloudy. Goes from a light yellow to a dark orange hue, but a lot of cloudiness, a lot of bubbles. Oh my God. I could watch this thing effervesce all night long. It is beautiful. Just a beautiful cascade of bubbles from top to bottom all night long. And I can even smell it from here. Just a nice, beery smelling beer. You know what I mean if you know what I mean. If you don't know what I mean, then, well, this ain't for you. It's a light graininess to it. Maybe a slight hoppy bitterness in the aroma and some citrusy notes. But just a light, crisp beer aroma. Medium light mouthfeel. Smooth, very bubbly, effervescent beer. It's got a nice crisp finish to it. I mean, overall, it's smooth, light, and crisp. That is a crisp snap, cold snap, to the finish on it. But it really is a good beer for, honestly, any time of year. The cold snap thing, it's a bit of a play on words, but at the same time, this beer is great for springtime when you hit a nice cold spell. It's good for summertime when you hit a nice cold spell. It's good for the middle of winter when you hit a cold spell, and fall, cold spell. Cold Snap is aptly named. It's a very well-balanced, well-put-together beer. It's not quite hitting perfection for me, though. Which is why I'm going to hit it with a 4 out of 5. It's crisp, smooth, easy to drink. It's a seasonal beer that's good for all 4 seasons. It's got some mild hoppy bitterness to it. It's just good without having anything that makes it stand out from the crowd of good beers. So, no specifics. It's just plain good. But it's not perfect. So we're at a 4 out of 5. Anyway, I'm going to finish this up. We're going to move on to the next one, which, again, I'm going to go from high ABV to low ABV with the 3 new ones. We'll go to Red Zone Lager next. All right. Red Zone Lager is up next. So, limited release, 6.2% ABV. We talked about that. 25 IBUs. So, we're going in the wrong direction for IBUs, but 25, honestly, once you're under 30, whatever. All right. So, a malty march forward into, hang on, sorry, let me start that over here. A malty march forward with rich touches of toffee, a perfect balance of slightly sweet malt character from fresh hop bitterness, and snappy red fruit aromas. The hell is red fruit? This red lager is so good, you'll go for 2. Well, we'll see. Honestly, I think, I got bubbles dancing for a second or two. On top of that. Honestly, I think at this point that some of these seasonal off-season, winter, fall, spring, summer, and then you've got the off-seasons, which are this time prime time. Last time it was game day. Game day seems to be irregular. But these off-season variety packs just seem to be slight rehashes of old recipes. This has got a nice copper color to it, nice reddish copper, clear, not cloudy, slightly effervescent. There's a slightly sweet maltiness to it. Pardon. With a hint of a malt, a hoppy, bitter undertone. Nothing specific though, except maybe some citrus. Maybe citrusy notes to the malty aroma, sweet malty aroma that I was picking up on. Should honestly make this a bit of an Irish red rehash. I'm not going to say that, but I just did. Medium light mouthfeel. Medium light mouthfeel. A nice, slightly roasty maltiness. With a hint of sweetness underneath that. Like a roasty, sweet maltiness. And then there's this, just a hint of hoppy bitterness, maybe with a touch of citrus undertones, but not specifically. It does remind me of Sam Adams Irish Red or Killian's Irish Red. Not that we're comparing here, we're just sampling this taste. But if I had to say anything, I would say that the Red Zone Lager is really touching upon the Killian's Irish Red. It's like lightly kissing the character of that beer. Not a bad thing, don't get me wrong. I love Killian's. I prefer Sam Adams Irish Red, but, or better yet, their Brick Red, which at one point you could only get in the Boston area, but apparently they released it nationwide in a Brewmaster's pack, but that seemed to be a limited thing, so I'm guessing it's back to being regional. Or you can't really call a city a region, but anyway. I digress again. This Red Zone Lager is very, very similar to Killian's or other widely distributed Irish Reds. Again, not a bad thing, but not standing out from the crowd. So, hitting this with a 3 out of 5. It's a good beer. 2.5 out of 2.5 out of 5 is an average rating. So this is just slightly above average, which means that it's great, it's good, it's drinkable, it's better than what I would expect from most beers, but it's not quite standing out or distinguishing itself from the crowd to the point where I'm like, okay, wow, that's great. But it's just like, meh plus, I guess. The best way to describe a 3 out of 5. Yep. Pretty much exhausted that explanation to death. So, that's where I'm at. I'm going to finish this up. We're going to move on to the Breakaway Blonde. Alright, next up is the Breakaway Blonde. Yes, I've not missed the fact that Cold Snap, Red Zone, Breakaway, and Postseason are not all football references. I get that, yes. I'm not one of those, go sports ball, home touchdown assholes, because you fucking guys are more obnoxious than the most obnoxious sports fans. But at the same time, like, I'm not missing the references. I'm not going to pretend to miss the references. Not like, the Final Four, whatever that is. Look, bitch, you ain't been hiding under a rock for 4 fucking years. You know what the Final Four is, just like the rest of us do. It's not fucking cool to pretend you don't know sports terms. It's not cool. It's more cool to just acknowledge that you know what they are and you don't care, honestly. Whatever. I don't know what point I'm trying to prove here, but slightly effervescent. A little bit of bubbles coming up through there. It's a little bit hazy. There's a little tiny bit of cloudiness to this, but it's mostly very, very clear. Golden color to it. So that part's not wrong. Honestly, it smells like a beer-flavored beer. Not gonna lie. Breakaway Blonde smells like a slightly roasted beer-flavored beer. Like if you walk into an old ass beer store with a concrete floor and it's got that aroma of generations of spilled beer seeping up from the concrete below your feet, this is what you get. It's not a bad thing. It's not. It's just beer. General beeriness. It's so fucking familiar that I can't stop sniffing it. It's very comforting, very familiar, very much. This is where I belong in the world. Concrete seeping up from beer smell. It's so fucking... It's like a goddamn safety blanket and a teddy bear all at once. Oh, beer stores used to smell like this. Now they smell like incense and peppermints and fucking douchebaggery. Some of them do. Some of them do. Not all of them. Okay. Light mouthfeel. Very crisp finish. It's got a slightly roasty note to the malt. There's maybe a hint of sourness and metallic taste, but not too much. It's like this Coors Light, Bud Light, Miller Light combo with a mellow character to it that just, it's like a lot of domestic plain old light beers. Pardon. While still having a distinct character outside of them. I got hiccups trying to break through here. And they've succeeded. And try and tamp these down, at least for the remainder of this video. Alright, here we go. So I guess what I'm really getting at is that it's kind of everything you like about your basic American domestic beers, while at the same time tamping down everything you don't like about them. So it ain't great, but there's nothing disappointing about it. It's honestly, I'm hitting this with a 4 out of 5. And I don't like doing that. I'm going to go into extensive detail right now about why. All the shit I mentioned before is accurate, but at the same time, it's impressing me by being a beer that has the character of your basic domestic American beer, with all the pluses but none of the minuses. So it's like If you like Coors Light, you'll like Coors Light. If you like Bud Light, you're going to like Bud Light. If you like Miller Lite, you're going to like Miller Lite. If you like any one of those three, but find anything about them individually that you don't like, then you're going to like this beer without any of the negatives. So I would normally, just out of character, give this a 3 or a 3.5. But the fact of the matter is that a lot of people like those other beers that I mentioned, but there's at least something about them that they find distasteful. If you like any of those major beer brands, you will taste this and you will like it, and you will not find any of those drawbacks that you might find to your beer of choice. That's bumping it up just slightly to the 4 out of 5. I would normally give this again a 3.5, maybe a 3. I don't know if I'd give it a 3. It's just it's good. It has there's no negative aspects of this beer. It's just on a lot of levels, it's a very basic, but it is so good at being basic that it's impressing me. So there we are. 4 out of 5. I'm going to finish it up. We're going to move on to the last beer in the pack. All right, we are up to the last beer. We get the Postseason IPA, 4.5% ABV and 30 IBUs. So, in terms of IBUs, I did run this in the correct order, but you know, it is what it is. Damn. You can smell the hoppiness from here. It's pretty good. I mean, that's what it is. It's kind of an interesting profile. It's not hazy at all, which, you know, if you've seen some of my previous videos, then you know my opinion on hazy versus non-hazy IPAs. Long story didn't read. It doesn't fucking matter. But it's very clear, golden color, consistent throughout. Slightly effervescent. Few bubbles coming up through there. But looks fucking great. Getting a slightly hoppy aroma off of it. Overall hoppy and smoky, maybe a hint of a metallic character. Medium light mouthfeel. So it's got a little bit of body to it, but it's got like the smoky, coppery tang to it. Maybe a hint of sulfur underneath. It's honestly copper and sulfur. It's right. So copper for green, sulfur for blue, something for iron for red. It's kind of got like this combination fireworks after aroma character to it. I mean, it's good. It's not blowing me away. It's got those chemical tangs to it. An overall hoppy undertone, but it's not, other than those 3 metallic notes that I mentioned, it's not resolving into any sort of earthy or pine or citrus or grassy or dank character. Even those slight burps are coming up as just an overall metallic character, which you can put as a subclass of earthy, the 4 major hopper characters. So it's different, it's interesting, it's just not completely catching my attention. This was a 3.5 out of 5. It's just, well, hang on. Alright. I'm gonna push this up to a 4. And getting, in addition to the specific metallic flavor characteristics that I'm getting from it, I'm getting like this underlying electric current character and pardon, copper, sulfur, iron, and then just like this electric tingliness to it. Yeah. It's got a zing. It's electric. Son of a bitch. God damn it, son of a bitch. I gotta push this one up to a 5 out of 5. On first reaction, I was like, it's not really that much of an IPA at all. It doesn't have this, pardon, hoppy bitterness that we'd expect from them, but as I go deeper and deeper into it, it's got more and more of a metallic character, and then it drops in a metallic dankness into, pardon, an electrifying taste, and then, alright, I'm shocked. No pun intended at that particular point. I am shocked about how impressed I am by this beer. It's incredible. So, if you're looking at the Primetime Beers pack overall, well, Cold Snap, everybody knows what Cold Snap is. The Blonde Ale and the Red Zone Lager, maybe slightly elevated forms of other Sam Adams beers that you've had before. But this IPA, the Postseason IPA, that it's transcendent. I guess it's kind of a standout in this pack because three out of four beers in this pack, your friends who like Bud Light, Coors Light, or Miller Light are just gonna drink it. Okay, it's okay. But if you get them to the postseason, oh, gee, maybe that's a fucking metaphor in and of itself. If you get them to the postseason IPA, they'll be like, oh, that's amazing. Because it's unlike anything they've had before. It's a good starter pack, I guess is what I'm getting at. I mean, it's a good pack for anybody else. It's three mediocre beers followed by one that just like, well, that's new, different, and interesting. But, alright. That's just my opinion on the pack. Hit me up down below in the comments or the email link. Love to hear what you have to say about any of these beers individually or the pack as a whole, which, honestly, Cold Snap's probably the only one that is offered separately for a few years, unless one of the three new ones radically takes off and they decide to drop it in 6-packs. But anyway, other segue. While you're down there, don't forget to like and share the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you understand anything I'm saying at this point, because I've been slurring my words for at least the last 10 minutes. And till next time, folks, thanks for tuning in.